What's up, everyone? I'm Damien,
And I'm Nick.
and this is the Aki Culture Club.
What's going on, boys and girls and everyone in between? Welcome to episode 43 of the Aki Culture Club. And let me tell you, we got some good ones for you today.
We got some good ones. Two
And
shows
some duds.
ended and some duds, that's for sure. Before we start, if you like what we're doing, if you could like, comment, subscribe, that would be, Nick and I would be eternally grateful. We want to take this thing to be a little bit bigger than just the two of us, and we want to make this a little real club atmosphere. So if you like us, let us know.
Yeah, we want your feedback. We want to talk to you about the shows that we talk about.
Absolutely, because it's cool that it's just us, but it would be cooler if it was more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Dude,
all right.
Can we just get the dud? Just get it out of the way.
Let's get this dud out of the way. Let's do it, Nick.
Peach Boy Riverside, episode 12.
Episode 12.
Which was also like episode 7 somewhere in ether. I don't know.
I think it was episode 7. Yeah.
Yeah. We saw the end. So the season ended, but we already saw the end of the season like 6 episodes ago. So, I mean, this one was pretty much the giant tree, fight with the giant tree ended in a punch. Yeah, there's some like ogres hate ogres and humans hate each other. Ogres are made from hatred of humans.
It's like a lot of stuff that have been like, this would have been cooler if this was actually episode 7, And you're right, it ended in one single. Well, before we talk about how it ended in one single punch, let's talk about how Sally was convicted. She had this conviction that she wanted to make sure that, humans and ogres and other Falcons alike all kind of like can commingle. And then in one like simple sentence, the tree ogre was like, yeah, we're born from hatred. And all of a sudden she's like, eye flick. She's like, oh, I hate you now. Like, I want to punch you. She's like, I want to be. I was like, okay, peace through war. I guess that's how you're going to go about it. Like, that's never worked. Like, that's always worked in the past. It's that's never worked. Oh my god.
Everybody is equal except for you.
Except for you. And I'm gonna have to beat you down so you can listen to me and we'll be equals. Like, okay. Like, it would be cool if it was like, oh yeah, she's obviously like a flawed character. And this is like a black and like, gray area and whatnot. But it's not like that at all.
Just not. It's just like, I don't even know if it warrants anymore. Like, we're gonna rate it again. Like, we're gonna do our ratings episode in a couple days, weeks, and maybe we can just trash it then. But it ended like we saw how it should have ended. The Makoto and Sumeragi scene at the end of what should have been the end would have made a lot more sense if it came after what we saw in this episode with them too. And
yeah, I thought it was going to be good at the very beginning, but we'll go over that in the ratings episode. But yeah, it was a dud, and we're just gonna kind of skirt on past. We're gonna out of here.
Yeah, it's not worth our time
because it's not. You're right. It's just not. But unfortunately, we do have every other show this week was actually pretty good.
Yes.
So
yes,
we can really hop into any one of those at this point.
Yeah. Let's do Moonlit Fantasy.
Ooh, okay. Dude, Moonlit Fantasy is really really impressing me at this point.
Dude, we got some conflict and some consequences, and it's getting good, man.
It is we're seeing the first so I'm glad that Tomo didn't die. Yes. Really happy about that. But we do see that people can get injured and that they can die.
So I think the explosion that we heard and the blood loss that she had and the injury she took was because Fragment blew up.
Yes.
She's gone. And I think because it's a part of her, it affected her. And that was kind of like the beginning of the whole conflict in this episode.
Yes.
Yes.
Which was interesting that the Fragment can die, because I thought it was a copy of herself, where it was kind of I don't know, in a weird way, twice as copy, where it's not a real entity, but I guess it was.
Yeah. I thought it was just kind of energy that she made.
Yeah, me too. I thought so as well, but no, it's it was its own person, which was interesting. I didn't expect that.
But my boy Makoto, freaking brutal.
Dude.
It was just the coolest scene.
I was not expecting that level of violence from him.
Mm-mm.
Like every time he had a new face in that scene, I was like screenshotting. I'm like, oh my god, this will be a good cover. This will be a good cover. I was like, oh no, this will be a good. Because I was like, dude, he's usually like this funny, laid back, meek individual, and in this moment, he was out. He was for revenge.
Yeah, dude. Mama Bear's cute until you mess with his cubs.
Oh yeah.
Cubs.
And in this case, like he really, like, dude, he chopped her hands off.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
And that was like the violent part.
Dude, just think, and this whole time, like he was talking to her, but he's like this demon-looking thing to her, and she can't understand what he's saying. So he's just like mumbling gibberish to her, and like with this scary face, and just coming at her like step by step. And it was just dark and beautiful. I loved it. I loved all of it.
I didn't realize that. You're right. He wasn't using he can't communicate with them through language. He needs to use his written language, which means that, and he also his mask was off. So you're right. He was like the demon king energy. And then, oh man, I'm surprised she just didn't die of shock. You know, that's that. I didn't actually realize that. And then the real point of like no return, I felt like for him was like the just quick stab, like not like the very gentle stab in the neck. Like it's one thing to chop somebody's hands off and like you know, like almost like a passion of just like ha ha ha, you know, like real fierce, but to just like slowly just stick it in, like that's
that whole like contemplating death afterwards, and you saw a flashback of when he was a kid and he learned about death, and it was almost like it didn't really phase him. Like
it didn't.
Yeah, he's like a monster now.
He's like a well, that's the thing. Like we see if he did have like that channeling of that energy, and then in the next scene when we get to Tomo, it's like he's kind of back to normal. So I'm not quite like I'm trying to see if his character has like breath, you know, like is it like a switch that he can flip on now, or is he permanently kind of violent and he's just hiding himself? I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. I mean, I think we're about to find out in this next episode, because two foes appeared. They've actually seemed like a problem for once.
Yes. So he is ushered out, like he wants to learn more about this world, which feels like at the ending of the season, like kind of like, you know, it's like that was kind of like the climax. And then it's just like, okay, I'm going to leave everything here and I'm going to go to this city and I'm going to go to school and I'm going to learn and I'm going to come back and have it like better, like be a better leader, better businessman, have more knowledge on the area. And he gets transported.
Yes,
and you're right, goddess. By the goddess, which was she's like, gotcha. Like, so he was hiding from her this entire time. And I guess he slipped up when he took his mask off and killed that girl and like was giving out too much energy. And when he went to go transport, she found him.
Yeah.
And these two individuals do look like they can give him a run for his money. And even Tomo and Mio as well. Like they seem like on their level.
Which is great.
It is great. My only thing is, why is the goddess in cahoots with what appears to be demons?
Yeah, I think you called it before. It's going to be, I think we're leading to a war between the deities of this realm and him and his people, because he's almost like a deity, you know, whether it be demons and goddesses. Like if it's like any other universe or show, like there's a balance between like angels and demons, you know, and he's throwing off that balance, being like this third party who's super strong. And, you know, so I feel like maybe they're kind of uniting to go up against this third deity who has appeared in their universe.
That's interesting. I would be so surprised if that's how this went. Like the goddess is reuniting with the demons. And the reason why I think they're demons is that Rembrandt was talking about demons. And he was kind of just like how they were advancing. And I was like, okay, they wouldn't just say that for no reason.
No.
So they have to be, and they give off demon vibes, like they give off 7 deadly sins, 10 commandments vibes.
Yes, yes, they do.
So
I think you called it with the war coming. It's gonna be the demiplane versus the angels and the demons.
I think so. Do you think this is gonna end on a cliffhanger?
Yeah, for sure. I think he's finally like something bad's actually going to happen to him, and then he's going to survive it, of course. But then it's going to be like we're going to be like, oh yeah, there's real consequences in the show, and then it's going to end. Absolutely. The whole first season was like comical and fun, and there really wasn't anything like consequences, and it's going to be like, just kidding. This is a real show, and then it's going to end.
That's, I think, exactly how that's going to go. Like almost verbatim. Yeah, I think it's definitely going to end on a climax.
What did he say?
My favorite joke from this episode, when he was deciding who to take with him to go like investigate the explosion, and he's like, I'm going to take the Lich, which is his name is now named Shiki, which I love that name. That's good. And I think it was Miho was like, he's going to take the surplus follower with him instead of us. And I was like, and he just like melts. It's like surplus follower.
I love that too. Yeah, I wrote that down. I said, even after all this, they can still fight, and they're like making fun of him as a surplus servant. And I was like, dang. They are not happy with him being there, which is funny because I did think that Shiki was going to be a woman.
Yeah.
Which I think would have like messed up the dynamic, and I really like that he's a guy and a fabulous guy at that. So it's kind of like really, very, very luscious hair.
And it's proving to be useful though.
He's very useful. Yeah,
he's very smart, and he has like enhanced healing abilities, which we learned. And Makoto used his own Kai twice within the healing abilities to like amplify it, and healed that one lizard dude,
which was interesting. I didn't think that he could double up his Kai abilities like that.
Can he just do it infinitely?
Yeah, it kind of like, is that how can he just like double down, triple down? Like, is this like Dragon Ball level power? Can he just like continually just like power it up until it's like, that's how it happens in Dragon Ball, right? That's a thing.
Yeah, kind of.
Is that a thing? I've never seen it.
It's like you're Super Saiyan, then you're Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3.
Yeah. And just when you think things can't get any worse, they do, and then you can go to Super Saiyan 4.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that's just like, we don't talk about Dragon Ball GT. That's where Super Saiyan 4 came from.
Shit, never mind.
But yeah, that's Dragon Ball. You just get a new power up every time someone stronger comes.
It's the infinite power scaling. Can't beat it. Can't beat it because you just power scale.
Yeah, I mean, those people, they can blow up planets. So it's like, how much further can you go?
Oh, that's probably where the Goku versus Saitama argument comes into play there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm Team Goku in this. I know One Punch Man is yet
to
take any. The dude can, like, I'm pretty sure in like Super, it's like Super Saiyan 1 can like destroy a planet. Super Saiyan 2 can like destroy a planet, like blow it up in like a shot, and it just keeps getting stronger. And then he's like Super Saiyan God or something in Dragon Ball Super, and which I haven't watched yet, but I'm pretty sure it's like it goes from planetary like conflict to like universal. It's like this new dude can like destroy universe, so it just keeps going. I don't know. I love Saitama, but like Goku's Goku.
Oh dang. Maybe I gotta do a little bit of investment into Dragon Ball Z just to get it, like, because that sounds really interesting. I didn't know that at all.
It's a ride. Like, there's gonna be a lot of episodes.
Like, there's a lot of episodes for Naruto.
Yes, but
which I started watching, by the way.
Did you?
Yeah. We'll get to that. We'll get to that in another episode. Don't you worry.
Okay.
But I have been. Just wrapped up the Tsunade situation.
Yeah, we'll get there. There.
We will. Okay. Fena. Episode 7, Burning Seas. What the heck?
That's a good way to put it. Very good. A lot happened in this episode. Very good. Loved
It did. So everyone is now deciding to just like go against their orders, and they don't really care about the repercussion, even though that dude Kai is like after them, and they're gonna go and save Fena. But like Yukimaru went first,
of course,
which proved to be a little disastrous for him.
Yes, and is he under spell or is he just in love?
No. Well, it kind of gives me like, think about Captain Abel. Doesn't he give you under the spell type vibes too?
Yeah, he's doing all this for a girl who like died, Helena.
Yeah.
And like they weren't even, I mean, Fena asked him like, did she love you back? And he's like, I gotta find out. So that's his whole motivation here. And it's like, yeah, it's like he's almost zombified by it.
He is, and he'll do anything to kind of prove that. And by anything, I mean destroy an entire ship.
Yeah, dude, that was fucking awesome.
And kill. Dude, so I know we go by the anime rule. If you don't see their body, they're probably not dead. However, and I think that they had like a real nice like crew of very interesting and fun characters in the Rebel Rose. But to see it get obliterated like that, I can't imagine anyone is still alive.
I don't know, man. Do we stick to our guns with our rules? Because we saw some dead bodies.
We did.
Gimar was like, he was rowing through it. But we didn't see like the leader.
Or like the one girl that's like interested in the twins, or the big broad. Like we didn't see any of that.
Yeah, it'd be hard to think that they introduce those characters and they're like such dynamic characters, and then they're just gone in a shot. We don't see them die.
Yeah, that would be really terrible, actually.
Yeah, but you know, this is a new show. It could be throwing out the rules.
It could, and I know they like to do the whole gray area thing, so that's why, like, when Yukimaru was going through the water and he thought it was Fena's body, but then it turned out to be just some random woman. It was like, okay, so the people did die, but the Captain Abel mentions a verse, and I was very interested in what he said. So he said Matthew 9:16, and I looked it up. I don't know if you looked it up.
I knew you would, so I said it.
So in the NIV version of the Bible, Matthew 9:16 says, "No one sews a patch of unshrunk cloth on an old garment, for the patch will pull away from the garment, making the tear worse."
What was the context that he used this? It was like
justification for blowing the ship up.
Yeah, okay. I thought so. That's an interesting verse.
Yeah, so I think he was trying to use it in the context of like, in the overall context, I think in the Bible, what I was reading was that like Jesus was talking to his disciples on why they don't do the same thing that the Pharisees do, like fasting and like certain methods of prayer. And one of the things he said was, no one sews a patch of unstrung cloth on an old garment. So I don't know if like what Captain Abel was saying is like, there's no sense in trying to keep them along when we no longer need them anymore. And if we continue with them, they'll just make us worse.
Yeah, that's a pretty good breakdown. That makes a lot of sense.
I think so. Yeah. I think that's how it goes.
Obliterates them with a cannon that's supposed to siege walls.
Dude, siege walls, bro. I was like, oh my God. There's a lot of killing this week. I don't know about you. I don't know if you noticed that. There's a lot of killing this week.
Yeah, I mean, Yukimaru took down like 10 people.
Yeah.
Maybe not 10, but he took down a lot.
Then everyone else came on. They boarded the ship and they were shooting people with arrows in the chest. And they were getting their heads blown off, like taken off. Like, oh my God. Like the twins came in with their like hailbirds, which I personally think is my favorite weapon. I like hailbirds. I don't know why. I like the longness, you know, like you can get in there and start stabbing.
I mean, if you were a gladiator, you'd either use a spear or a halberd for sure.
Do you mean me personally or just in general?
You personally.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. I do like a nice halberd.
I mean, you're big enough, you'd have a shield and a spear.
Oh my God, that would be badass.
Yeah, would.
That'd be cool.
But Yukimaru, like, I don't think he's gonna die because he's such a main character, but yeah, this dude he got shot twice in this episode.
Twice. Yeah, he got the triple. Is it the triple shot, John, that he had? He
Yeah,
shot him
but
with the triple gun, or he
I
only got
think
hit twice?
only 2 barrels were smoking, so I think he might
Oh,
only had 2 bullets in it. But he got hit like in the back, kind of lower back, and up
yeah.
in his shoulder, and like this is medieval, not medieval times, but this is a long time ago, 1800s or something. Like that should do some damage. That should kill him.
Yeah. He definitely won't have any medical care that's good enough to take the bullets out and repurpose his body. And then the physical therapy that's required after that, you
What do
know?
you think's about that?
Oh my
Physical therapy.
gosh. What do we, who knows about that? We got to get some PTs up in this podcast to really tell us how they would fix someone who gets shot both in the shoulder and the hip.
Dude, that would be such a great segment. So we have 2 friends who are doctors of physical therapy, and to like have them break down injuries that that we see in the shows, and like, is this recoverable? Is he gonna be able to walk again? And they break it down on what they would do. That'd be so much fun.
That would be a lot of fun. We should do that. That would be cool.
We should.
That's a good YouTube video idea, Nick.
Yes, it is.
Good content idea.
Write
We
that
should
down,
do that. Write that down. Write that down. Write that down. Anyway, I'm just gonna add that to my brainstorm list real quick.
Good. So the guy, I can't believe I can't remember his name. You have Yukimaru, and you have the other guy with the bow, and he's like the leader. Shitan. Yeah, he was the only one who was like completely against going to save Fena, and he was the one who kind of led the charge when the rest of the crew came. His arrows hit first. So he's the one. He had to change of heart, and they used the ship that they were on to chase them instead of them like rowboats. So yeah, we saw a pretty big change of heart. He was like stickler for the rules before it, but Yukimaru is so important to him. They're like, we're gonna go save Fena. Yukimaru's already there. Your whole job is to protect Yukimaru. That's like your creed. And change of heart, and there he was.
And there he was, which was cool that he had that change of heart. But I feel like there's going to be some serious repercussions for that when Kei shows up.
Yep.
And I can only imagine how that's going to be handled. Like, we don't know him as a character. We just know that he's a scary man.
Yes. Yeah. But like, how can one guy take on what do they have, like 6 people?
They scared.
Yeah. I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, we will find out. We will.
Yeah.
That's
Fena.
That's Fena. We have 2 more.
And they were so good.
Oh, they were so good.
I think we have to end with Tokyo Revengers because it was the end of the season.
We do.
So my hero, what episode number was it?
24.
This was, so 23, we saw the backstory of Tenko, which is Shigaraki before he became Shigaraki. Episode 24 is the backstory of Shigaraki. So it's post his brutal history to where he is now. And it ends at the current time that we were before the flashback.
Yes.
Again, brutal. This guy, like, he's cursed, but he loves it, I guess. Like, all he wants is destruction. That's
he embraced
whole,
I think he embraced it, right? Like, he's like, I finally have what I want, and that is the ability to destroy, and I can scratch the itch, and he's happy with that.
Did you feel bad for him when he was walking around as a little kid? He like looked up at that lady, and she was like, "Oh no, I'm gonna leave. Hero should be here soon."
Like, a hero will be here. Yeah, I did feel bad for him, but that just kind of solidifies my kind of position on the identity of quirks in this society, is that, like, if you have a useful quirk, you are deemed a useful individual. But if you have a non-useful quirk, or a quirk that is detrimental to society, you are looked down upon.
Yes.
Instead of like the entire cultivation of quirks, no matter what your status is I would think would be better.
I agree. I kind of agree with the Meta Liberation Army a little bit.
Yeah, I agree with them that they accept all quirks. I don't agree that they think that they can just use them without repercussions.
Right.
Your quirk should be something that is beneficial no matter what it is, Like, think about think about his quirk as decay. Like, think about the job that he could be doing. Like, he could be decaying things that, maybe like radioactive material.
He could change the face of the demolition companies.
Yeah.
Just
demolition, radioactiveness, recycling, trash. Like, there are all these things that he could use his quirk for that would be beneficial to society, And instead, he was just cast to the wayside, and he kind of developed this hatred of everyone around him, stemming from his father. And he was given a new name.
Yes.
Just Shigaraki.
All for One got his little snake hands in there. He knew what he was doing. I wonder, like, I want to know, like, the potential that he saw in him. Because he just picked this. It was like a random encounter, unless he was following him. I don't know. Can he sense quirks? But it seemed like a random encounter that he just walked upon him, and he's like, you can be my son now, essentially.
It did feel uber random though, right? Like, he was just like, let me just show up and like pluck this kid out of like the nothingness, and you're like, okay, like, I guess so, which feels like a little bit of a plot hole. But maybe what you just said about him being able to sense quirks makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But also, you never know about the news. Like, small child kills entire family.
Yeah.
Like, he did have his like, he would have some like ability to like find him then. Because he's like, oh, he decayed his entire family, I should look into this. And then all of a sudden he just like stumbles upon some creepy looking kid laying against a wall, and he's like, yep, that's him.
Yeah,
that definitely is him.
So then we come back to the present, which is the past, but it's the present in our current story. And like, I always knew Shigaraki was like powerful because he was the leader of the League of Villains, but I never knew he was that powerful. Like, this man just touched the ground and decayed everything around him. And like, if you're standing there, you're dead. So like, he kept getting like pieces of Redestro's like mech armor or whatever he had, because he was on the ground at the time, and it would just decay and fall away, and then he'd fly up in the air and then come back down. He'd just decay the ground again. And like, that is so deadly. Like, he could just kill everything around him just by touching the ground.
Absolutely. And it was like, I didn't understand the concept of his power to that degree as well. Like, the fact that he was just slowly destroying his armor and then was like chopping his like legs off as he was touching the ground, and he was destroying like the city around him too. And what was Redestro went to 150%, and Shigaraki was able to go farther than that. Like, he was able to be stronger than Redestro's 150%. Leads me to believe that Shigaraki is insanely strong.
He's getting a power up. This whole like debacle that they're on with the giant dude, Giga something, like, that's just to prove their worth, so the scientist guy can give him a power up.
Oh yeah, that's true. Like, a few episodes ago, we saw him at the end of the episode getting shocked, and he was, I guess, getting that power up, which is insane that he's gonna get a power up with how strong he is.
Exactly.
I wonder though what his power will be equal to, like, according to like Nomus. So we saw some Nomus that were super strong that Endeavor was having trouble with.
Yeah, and I think they stored. What happened was they stored some of All for One's abilities in Nomus, and I think they're going to put them into Shigaraki. So he's going to get more powers than just decay.
Oh, do you think he's going to have multiple quirks?
Yeah, because he's All for One's successor.
Oh yeah,
that's this whole thing here. And the dude, he had like 8 Nomus around him, and they were all like quirks of All for Ones that he kept in the Nomus. And I think they're going to put them into Shigaraki.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So do you think that like the scientists wanted to see the power level of Shigaraki, so he didn't turn himself into like what a Nomu is, like an unintelligible humanoid being? Like, if he was strong enough, he could retain his humanity.
Yeah, I think that was a pretty big part of it.
Gotcha. Okay, so this is really interesting because All Might was able to pass on One for All to Deku, right? Does that mean All for One I was assuming that All for One was able to pass on his power to Shigaraki, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem like that's the case. Otherwise, he would have done it already because it's his successor.
Right.
So instead, they're going to artificially, like they have been, creating Nomus to create the ability to pass on a power.
I think so. I think that's where we're at now. That's how I understood it, at least.
Got it. So we're trying to artificially create the same scenario that All Might and Deku have.
Yeah.
That's insane.
That's insane.
I didn't know. That is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay.
So then get to the end of the episode. So as he's decaying the ground, he gets Redestro's legs. Redestro chops his legs off to stop himself from dying. And he realizes that Shigaraki is like the embodiment of what he's been fighting for this whole time, liberation. He seems like this man is liberated, essentially.
This man's is liberated. And
the Liberation Army joins the League of Villains, as with Shigaraki as like the head. And what is the name? I know you wrote it down. It's like Paranormal something.
It's like Paranormal Liberation Front.
Yes, which is such a better name than both names. So, and at the end of it, he gives like a speech. And we see that, the heroes are going to have a bad time. This is going to be tough because they got like 100,000 people plus these super powerful dudes.
Oh yeah, this is going to be, I think, harder. So I guess my issue that I have up until this point is that we saw how strong Redestro is, which he doesn't have feet anymore, so he's wheelchair bound. We saw how strong Shigaraki is. He's getting a power up. And then they have 9, I think, lieutenants that are a formation of both teams, like I guess the whole team of the League of Villains and then a few of the lieutenants from the Meta Liberation Army. They're all insanely strong. I'm just not seeing how Endeavor Hawks and like the kids and I guess Ayazawa and like the kids of 1A and 1B to be able to fight these guys.
I don't know either. I think next episode they're going to try to prove that because did you watch the preview for it?
I did not know. So
like I just remember seeing a flash of like Naval Laser actually like doing something, like
what?
I think, it's like I'm pretty sure next episode is going to be like showing how strong the students got, and it's kind of the beginning of this battle.
Okay.
Yeah. Naval. I was just like, you had to show Naval Laser. He blew up a bunch of stuff with his belly button.
Before we exit on the top of my hair, I feel like, and I could be completely wrong, so let me know if I am, that when the mangaka created this series, everyone had the first like 1A like powers figured out, and then as the series grew, he started adding powers, and then everyone after 1A got like way cooler powers, way cooler quirks. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so like he realized he kind of wrote himself into a corner with the quirks that he gave the initial characters, and he had to give. He's like, this isn't going to work with what I'm trying to do. So we need new cool powers to be like good supporting characters.
Exactly, and all the supporting powers stuff was like way cooler like quirks, and you're just like, I don't know, maybe that was the point because you're like, oh damn, how is like Mineta gonna fight? How the heck is Mineta like gonna fight someone like Dabi or Toga? Or like he ain't gonna fight? He's in the best school in the 1A program, I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see
in the next episode.
Maybe he dies. I wouldn't mind it.
Man. All right, bro. Okay. No hate there. You might get some people from the My Hero fandom upset on that one, but that's okay.
It would be a touching death. It would be. It wouldn't be pointless. It would do something.
Yes, you're right. No pointless deaths in the 1A. But if someone had to go for the effect, we wouldn't be upset if it just so happened to be Mineta. That's all we're saying.
So I got one more.
Oh, we got one more, Nick.
And I mean, this show, man, it's just perfect.
I love it.
The writing is so good. Like nothing happened. Nothing like eventful. Well, some eventful stuff happened. There wasn't like action or anything in this episode, but the stakes were there. The tension was high the whole time.
And I thought this was like, I don't know about you, I thought this was like the coolest last episode that I've seen in a long time.
I was so mad at the end. I was just like, we're gonna have to wait to find out what actually happened. These cliffhangers, man.
They really put it on the cliffhanger, right? Yeah. But the whole beginning, middle, and end before the cliffhanger was like, I don't know, so cool. Like we saw him go into the future, right? And he had no idea who he was. And I'm thinking to myself, like, like he gets the position of First Division commander, which is insane, right? So he gets taken to the future, and we learn that he is actually an exec in Toman, right? And it was insane to like see his like slicked back black hair, like, and the dude that was waiting for him, I'm like, oh, is this Kasaki? I'm like, okay, so Kasaki's still around. And then it's like, no, dude, that's Yagamishi. Like, that's his friend. And then like everyone else is like these old people. I'm like, who are these dudes? And I'm like, oh my God, that's everyone from Mizo Mid. Like that's his original crew of friends. He brought them into Toman in this time span. And like, he brought his boys with him,
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool. And I was like, dude, this is so interesting to see everyone so much older.
Yeah, I really want to know what this timeline's Takemichi was actually like, because we get our Takemichi in his body. So, I mean, he had to be badass to be where he was.
That's the thing that I wrote that down. Dude, Takemichi has to be a jerk in this life because everyone was respecting him. Like he was like his boy, like even kicked the driver's seat. It was like, Takemichi doesn't like smoke in the car when he's driving. It's like, dude, he's an asshole.
Yep.
So like for him to come back and be like his crybaby Takemichi style, like I really do. It would be cool to see like what his life was actually like, in this timeline, because he's involved in some crap.
Yes. You keep going. You're doing a good job summing this up.
Thanks. I don't want to sum the whole thing up, but like
you got it.
The one thing I thought of about him being the Judas was that I was thinking to myself, like, he kept going back to his phone and it's like, why is it Naoto on my phone? Why is it Naoto on my phone? Why is it Naoto on my phone? And I'm thinking to myself, like, he was accused of being a Judas. And I was like, maybe he actually is. And I say this because he doesn't have him in his phone, which means he doesn't want to get caught up. So he has him under some like pseudonym or some sort of like he has another phone, like a witness protection device that he has that he may use, or something that allows him to be a mole inside his own organization. That's kind of after the end of this episode. It's still kind of gray. I don't know or think that he was a traitor.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, Shifuyu sure. Was. So
Shifuyu definitely was. So obviously Kasaki can't be trusted for anything. And he drugs them. Snake. And he gets drugged. They both get drugged and they both get tied up. And Kasaki shoots Chifu in the head and kills him.
He does.
And shoots Takemichi in the leg. And then a gun goes off with a black screen, and we don't know what happened after that.
And that's the cliffhanger.
You're just like, oh my God. I went on right after. I'm like, did Tokyo Revengers get renewed for a second season?
It didn't. I'd be so mad.
Oh my God. I would be big mad. Apparently it's doing numbers, so it's definitely going to get a second season.
Yeah, I believe that.
I want to read ahead of the manga, but I'm like, I don't want to read ahead.
Can't do that.
I can't do that. No. An interesting tidbit of this episode, though, little bits and pieces that we picked up. in this timeline, Mikey is still missing.
Mm-hmm.
And Draken was executed.
Yeah.
So there are components of this timeline that are still in line with the original timeline.
Yeah, so Kazaki's still pulling strings behind the scenes,
Still pulling
essentially.
strings. Yep, still pulling strings. Mikey still left. Draken was still in jail and executed on death row.
Mm-hmm.
So my assumption is there's obviously way more story to tell. The secondary part is that, like, the reason why Mikey left Toman is still in the future.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he might actually be dead. Like, Kazaki could have killed him and just told everyone that he abandoned them.
Yes. I did not think of that. That would be insane.
So many.
Because that would make a lot of sense now, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't the snake just kill Mikey to get him off? Oh, damn. This changes everything for me.
This changes everything.
I kind of have to sit with that, actually. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, he could have killed Mikey, and I never thought of that.
We've seen him use poison, so it'd be a way to take him down.
That's why this is a great two-person show, you know, Nick? Because if it was just one of us, we wouldn't be able to come to these conclusions or think about these things like that. And we would kind of just be like, you know, one off in it without another person. But it's really nice that, you know, we could be like, oh, yeah, maybe he killed, like, Saki killed him. You're like, oh, he might have.
Two idiots are better than one, Damien.
Yeah, we're two halves of a whole idiot, Nick. What show is that from? Fairly Odd Parents. Come on, Nick.
Oh, such a good one.
Come on, Nick. All right. So, cliffhanger, Tokyo Revengers.
Just wonderful.
Yeah,
wonderful
that's it.
Show.
Yeah.
So happy with it.
Me too. We're going to give our entire ratings of everything in a different episode. We used to do it at the end as it went, but we're going to do another video where we can rate things on our own.
Mm-hmm. I like that.
And that's cool stuff.
Do you got time to talk about Naruto? We can save it.
I'm going to save it for next week's video because next week, Tokyo Revengers and Peach Boy Riverside are over, and we'll have 3 to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking about doing Naruto then.
Yeah, and you can watch more.
And I can watch more because I've been watching a lot.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Okay. Yeah.
That's it?
I think that's it, bro.
All right. You want to tell them where to find us?
Yeah. So thank you, everyone, for coming to our 43rd club meeting where we discuss all things anime related. This is your after school podcast with 2 wannabe weaves, where we detail the season's newest shows. And next week, an analysis of some old favorites. And you can find us at akiculture.club or at akicultureclub on social media. If you want to see us watch something next season, let us know in the comments. We'll look into it.
Please.
And we can talk about it.
All right. There's only one way to end these.
Peace out.
See you.